We're gonna be a businessman today. Those of you guys who haven't heard, Faze Clan, one of the very popular content orgs, they've had like a bit of a falling out. They signed a bunch of people. They signed 4 streamers a year and a half ago or so. Faze has been around for like about 15 years, but they had kind of like been dormant for a while. They were originally like an esports org, Call of Duty. With the rise of content orgs becoming a thing, they're like, hey, let's take a crack at this ourselves. They signed a few guys. They pumped them real hard. They kind of took off. But yesterday, what ended up happening, it's actually happened while we were live, a bunch of them decided to leave. I don't really want to call it drama. Technically, there's some drama to it. This is so much less drama and more of a business thing. That's why I got my suit on, okay? And I'm such a good businessman, I leave the tag on in case I need to return it. So what I wanted to do on today's stream is I want to go into this thing. I want to go over all this because this is something that like, as a business owner, as a founder of several businesses in the industry, this is something that like I'm kind of privy to, and it's actually very, very interesting to me. For example, like we started OTK. OTK was like one of the first, I think it was like, at least to our knowledge, it was the first like content org, right? There were content groups of people, but we took the esports org model and then said, we're not doing esports, we're gonna be a content org. We're gonna be like a production company, do media. And then it kind of took off. It's very, very interesting to me. Yo, wait, what the hell? Why did Banks unfollow me? What the hell did I do? Why did Banks unfollow me on Twitter? What the hell, dude? What did I do? I'm 50 Cent, dude. This is in response to the Max video, okay? First things first, we're gonna start with the PlaqueBoyMax video then. Before this, what happened was Ron, Lacey, Jason, Adapt, Silky left. So the only people remaining, Max left earlier this year. The only people remaining in Faze right now are Kason and Rage. And for the record, Adapt has been a part of Faze since like the early esports days, like 14 years ago or something.
Obviously, a lot of big news happening the last 24 hours. I know a lot of people are looking to me for my thoughts, as these are my boys and I went through the process first. As I said before, I want to be respectful of sensitive information. At the same time, as you all know,
I wish you would have just like ripped this off. I wish you would have just like ripped this off the cuff. Like I get that it's like really sensitive and maybe he wanted to write it down, what he wanted to say, but I just wish you would have just said it.
in this business, conversations often take place with assistant staffers and other people who aren't required to keep secrets, and everybody talks when something like this happens.
Okay, the sound effect does not have the same effect whenever the button's not going, the button's not working. It doesn't.
With that said, I can share a little more of what led to my own departure and what I think may have been the feelings of my bros. I joined Faze Clan last year, 2024, February. Shout out to Kason, shout out to Rage. You feel me? Help bringing me in. When we joined, brotherhood. Bros, good time, great vibes. We all some young kids. It's just like, damn, we coming around, and now we around niggas who, damn, niggas was watching niggas on the screen before we was in this position. We in a position now where it's like, damn, bro, we can do something great. Do something amazing.
So for the record, this is PlaqueBoyMax. PlaqueBoyMax is, he is a streamer that was a part of the Faze rebrand blow up that actually left the org earlier this year already.
Issue. You get what I'm saying? We was good. Y'all know, if you was there for 2024, say me, nigga.
Me.
Bro, y'all know, bro. Then Faze Miss 1 happened. Everything's still smooth. As I know, Faze Miss last year, 2024, was great vibes. We had a good time. But if y'all can recall, there was a stream later on into the month where I'm not even going to specifically name names, because if you was there, you was there. It's not the most big deal. But we had a sponsor. There was a sponsor for that day, and niggas didn't end up doing the sponsor. Game night. Yes, if you was there, you was there.
Classic. Classic. Hold on. So they had a sponsor and then people didn't stick with their obligations. Hold on.
For that day, and niggas didn't end up doing the sponsor. Game night. Yes, if you was there, you was there. Niggas didn't end up doing the sponsor. There was difficulties with the sponsor. Yeah. After that happened, according to the assistants and staff of the creators, because I'm not gonna lie, I just really don't remember. But they said that Faze has pulled everybody for the rest of the month and sent niggas home early. Right? This is the first time where in my head I went, okay, so how much control do we have here? And how much control do niggas have over us? If that makes sense. Move into January.
I'm currently more confused than I was 5 minutes ago.
Someone at Faze had introduced me to my old manager, Brandon. Shout out, Brandon. Was working with Brandon from about November to January. Y'all probably seen him, tall white boy with hair. You feel me? Yeah, 153. Oops. Brandon had falling out with person who introduced me. And person who introduced me,
Speed boost,
tells me, according to my assistant and my creative director at the time, who were sitting in on all calls, because they're on my team, tell me I have to fire my manager and get rid of him, or I can't be here.
So he says, Banks specifically said you need to fire your manager. Why did he say that? Oh, he didn't say Banks.
Video proof as well.
But you guys know it's Banks.
Of this meeting, they were there. This is information my assistants are just telling me.
No, hold on. Time out. His assistant, wait, hold on. So his assistant says to Max that Banks or that somebody said that they need to fire the manager. So now there's 4 people in this situation. That Max needs to fire his manager or he gets kicked from Faze. Okay.
After that happens, I stayed. Shout out to Brandon. He just wanted the best for me, wanted me to be as good as I could possibly be. We're still cool. I got introduced to a new manager, as y'all know. I come back to LA after New York. Everything's cool. I'm cool with the boys, you feel me? Me and the boys cool, but it's just like, damn, like, it was a weird air for a little while, you know what I'm saying? But everything got patched up, because at the end of the day, we bros and we love each other. Like, you feel me? I want to make that known. Ron, I love you. Jason, I love you. Dap, I love you. Rage, I love you. Silky, I love you. Kason, I love you. Did I forget anybody? I don't think so. Merry Christmas to y'all as well. I texted them though. Lacey, I love you. I thought Lacey was the nigga I said first.
I don't really care about the drama stuff. I want to hear about the business stuff. That's what I really care about. Fat Boy Dip reveals Faze tried to make Max pay $20K a month or give a percentage of his income to stay in the Faze guest house. Okay, so they asked to pay rent.
You see that little townhouse that Max was in?
20K is a lot. I know that this is in LA. In LA, 20K broken windows and damage. Yeah, that's a huge number. But in LA, dude, I've heard of some crazy rent numbers in LA.
They tried to make that nigga pay 20 bands a month. What the fuck? Or give a percentage of myself. What the fuck? But Max is such a good nigga. He just, yo, bro, I just want to. And now niggas like Max look crazy, look like egoed out niggas. No, that shit.
Oh, this is why he ended up leaving Faze. This isn't after he left Faze, okay?
But Max is such a good nigga. He just, yo, bro, I just want to. And now niggas like Max look crazy, look like egoed out niggas. No, that shit not cool though. Like niggas taking shit on the chin, making him look like this nigga the ego monster. Niggas don't know the truth, bro. Niggas don't know the truth.
Now, as I know, FBD worked for me. It's my cousin. Now,
I will say this about Max. Max, last time I saw him, he came up to me, he said hi, and he said, I know this guy. No, but he was super nice. I don't think he's like, he didn't come off as like weird or anything to me. I think he's a little bit oblivious, but I think he's I think he's very nice. Like he's kind of in his own world, you know?
He's streams now. He worked for me. He sat in meetings, and he heard these things for his own ears.
If you have obligations, if you have sponsor obligations, you do need to make your sponsor obligations. This is actually a real problem because, so I'll talk about it like on the industry side of things. Streaming is cool, entertainment, whatever. Everybody has a different role and everybody is in different parts of this. However, whenever there's somebody, it's somebody's job to go out and get sponsors. Somebody who works for Faze, talent management company, anything. So their job is to go and get the sponsors. They get the deal, they sign the deal. There's obligations, there's deliverables, there's things you have to do. So then the brand expects certain things to happen because you've told them certain things will happen. These things are communicated back and forth through management, your agent, all that. Okay, cool. The terms have been agreed to. This is the deal. Let's do it. I don't know how Faze is structured. I don't know how they run their stuff. But the top level sort of bird's eye view kind of look at how orgs work, and this is like the old school method, is, hey, we're gonna pay you essentially a retainer, right? We're gonna pay you a salary. And as part of that salary, instead of you going to go get your peripheral sponsor, your monitor sponsor, your energy category, your this, your that, whatever it is. Instead, we're just gonna pay you a lump sum every month. You don't do that, but now you are taking deals and you are sponsored by the things that the org is sponsored by, right? And then you need to fill out deliverables, and these are all things that are hashed out for like expectations whenever you sign that contract initially. So that's typically how this works, but I don't know how Faze did their stuff. That's the top level sort of explanation of how this stuff works. So
Now that I'm here, I want to sit here and at least apologize publicly to my boys because it caught them very off guard. But the reason I did this was because I needed to make a decision and stand on it. I knew if I had niggas move shit out, there's no going back. I needed to make this decision and not have any return. You get what I'm saying?
So somebody has a relationship with that brand or that brand agency in order to land deals, right? So whenever, like, let's say we're gonna use Dave, Dave's not my manager anymore, but Dave and I are still close, right? So I'm gonna use Dave as an example. Dave used to be my manager. If Dave is talking to Red Bull or Meta or one of these brands and say, hey, Esfand said this. Esfand said he's gonna do this. Esfand said he's gonna do that. If I don't deliver and I don't do the things that I said I'm gonna do, then it's not me that is getting flack for it. It is actually, but not directly. But what's gonna happen is it makes Dave look bad because Dave's the guy that has to go call up John Meta or John Red Bull and say, hey, sorry, tail between the legs. And it's kind of like, it's embarrassing, right? And then eventually, like, that happens enough times, it negatively impacts the relationships. And then all of a sudden Red Bull, right, whatever brand, might say like, okay, this guy doesn't ever come through, then we shouldn't work with these people anymore. Which now in turn affects not only the streamer's income and whoever else is getting paid in that situation, but also it negatively impacts the relationship and said, hey, because there's a seed of doubt. What if it wasn't the streamer? What if the streamer's manager did a bad job? That's why it's super important because like you're a team, and when you're a team, it's like the team isn't just the people, locked in arms with you side by side. A team is everybody behind you and everybody in front of you too.
You feel me? I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. Like, they real niggas, bro. They was trying to get me to stay. Yo, stay, bro. We can do this shit. We'll figure it out. Whatever. How you feel me? But it's like, bro, I gotta commit this shit. I know I can't be here, bro. Niggas have did us wrong multiple times, according to the assistants. And it's like, bro, as a man, what do I look like, bro? I gotta fight for it. Not fight for it, but I gotta go after what I believe is right and what I want for myself. So I left.
I'm gonna take some notes here for questions to have answered. So far, I have why, and we'll see if we get them answered at some point. Why did they ask for 20K rent to stay in the guest house? This actually matters kind of less in the grand scheme of things. What were the sponsors that were being missed? How many? What were the terms? I'm gonna kind of keep a tally of questions here.
Now it puts them in a position where they look crazy for staying when they wanted to stay. And at the end of the day, if they wanted to stay, they want to stay. You feel me? Like, that's their career. Doesn't matter. That's why I still do shit with these niggas, because it's like, whatever. You want to be there, you want to be there. It's not, bro, that doesn't have to do with anything. That has nothing to do with me. I freed myself. Hopefully they can figure their shit out one day. You feel me? Or if the shit work and everything's smooth. When I left, I got told niggas that was there, I'm not talking about the boys, niggas who work for, I got told it would be the worst decision of my life.
Damn, the distinction.
I got told I would KMS without being in this shit. You feel me? And I just want to say,
keep my sales. Gets good commission.
That I bet on myself. You feel me? Like, that I bet on myself and that I just believe in what the fuck I'm trying to do and who I want to be. Because, like I said, a lot of this shit, I want to be a good example for y'all, or like just be a good example of what you can be. I want y'all to be dreamers, bro. Dream as big as you possibly can, bro. But yeah, so I left. You feel me? Y'all know there's a lot of turmoil. Niggas was stoning me. Just saying
stoning me.
But at the end of the day, bro, because I had to talk with somebody. I'm not going to say who the Faze member is, but I had to talk with him. He said, bro, please, you feel me? He said, let us rock. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got what we got going on. And I'm like, you know what? You right, bro. Like, I don't want to fuck up nothing y'all got going on, bro. Nothing. Because it's like, it don't have to be. Niggas can all be cool, bro. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the business side is the business side. But, bro, I don't want to, you feel me?
I feel you.
So I didn't. But as you know, not everyone, who left? Ron, Lacey, Jason, Silk, Adapt left Faze.
I hear you. Right on.
Yeah, everyone leaving today. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna speak for them, but niggas in some shit, bro. And please be easy with them.
So to summarize this, Max's perspective as somebody who joined the org in 2024, like a year and a half ago, he blew up alongside the rest of these guys. Faze was doing a rebrand, and the everybody who joined just had a massive viewership spike, several magnitudes more viewership than they had the day before. All blew up. He ends up leaving. He explained that he felt that he wasn't really in control of his own brand and his own business and his own stream, and which is something that would probably resonate with a lot of people, whether they are streamers or whether they are non-streamers just in the workplace. You know, because sometimes you don't feel like whenever you're working for somebody that you're like, oh, I don't really feel like I'm in control here because I have to do what my boss says. A few different parts to that. The whole world's not like, you know, roses and happy and all this. It's like you can do whatever you want. It's like, no, well, you gotta work, right? And then people get put in those positions for a certain reason. And then hopefully they're good people put in those positions and everybody under them flourishes. Hopefully your guild leader is good. And if your guild leader is good, then the guild clears the content and everybody gets good loot, right? But unfortunately, sometimes that is not the case, which he felt like he was being told that he was supposed to DPS ads when he wanted to stick on the boss, right? So he's like, the strategy that I want to do doesn't really fit with how the guild is being run, and I don't like it, and he wanted to leave. For better or for worse, right or wrong, that's kind of how he felt. There's one thing Esfand knows, it's how to, yep, that's right, how to run a guild. Yeah, he's talking our speak. I'm translating to the nerds. Now, there's a few like key things that I noticed whenever he was talking. He's like, he mentioned that they wanted him to pay $20,000 a month to pay for the guest house, to pay rent for the guest house in, I'm assuming, Los Angeles. That is an egregious amount of money in the grand scheme of things. For the market and what it is, I have no idea. It's not out of the realm of possibility of that. You know, that actually might be like a quote fair market price, and it's like, hey, you just pay for the portion of it and you can stay there. I don't know. And I don't know why they asked him to. Maybe they just needed to subsidize the cost or something. And he said he didn't like that he had to pay that to stay in the house instead of, he wanted to stay in the house for free. So then that was part of the reason why he left, right? That was one mark for him. The other mark was they wanted him to allegedly fire his manager because he said one of his assistants was told by somebody at Faze that Max needs to get rid of his manager. So you have a four-way, like, you know, hate triangle here. So he told him that he needs to get rid of him. So he told him that he said that to him. So it doesn't look like there was a direct line of communication between these two, right? The two parties. Yeah, it's a four-way triangle. Yep. Mm-hmm. Apparently the whole house, including the guest house, costs $75,000 a month. Okay. Either way, this is actually less important than, it's actually much less important than this to me. And then this is something that we probably won't really get the answer to because this is like contract terms, right? How many sponsors were missed? This thing about missing sponsors and missing obligations keeps coming up. And if that keeps happening, then how is Faze supposed to be able to, I mean, how are they supposed to survive? How's the company supposed to operate? I'm actually very confused about this one. Like what, like, this is kind of like a big red button. Like kind of like a bleep, bleep, bleep. Like what's going on here? So while we were watching this, there's a few other points that kind of came up. So a couple things. Bloomberg did an article interviewing Kalish. This is what happened. They were offered new contracts with HardScope or the option to leave and go independent. So what is HardScope? HardScope is an agency, a company. So is HardScope the talent agency for Faze? It's Faze's parent company. Okay. How long has HardScope been around? 6 months. It's a major investor in Faze that has only been around for 6 months. Faze CEO started a new talent agency. Okay. So Kalish owns DraftKings, and then he created this agency. Kalish is he the CEO of Faze? Their headquarters is in Frisco. This is an amazing place to live, by the way. Founder of DraftKings is Matt Kalish, who is on the board at Faze. So you have a COO, you have a president, and you just have a board member. And that board member, Matt Kalish, owns Gigamoon Media, which Gigamoon Media is the parent company for DraftKings. Gigamoon? Moon. Wait a second. Is Moon the Draft King? Wait, this goes so deep. Matt Kalish, co-founder of DraftKings, CEO of HardScope, says Faze's current financial structure is unsustainable. Matt Kalish revealed he invested $10 million into Faze's talent group over the past 18 months and gave creators the option to go independent or to sign a deal with HardScope. After roughly 6 months of talks, negotiations ended with creators reportedly viewing the terms as unfavorable, and Kalish plans to move forward without them. Okay, $10 million into Faze is the investment. and they sign a few more people. And then he wanted them to sign with HardScope. This is getting kind of like muddy. The current financial structure of Faze is unsustainable. Best guess is that they're all good kids and have a lot of people in their ear and are confused. Ooh. Wait, hold on. The seeds of doubt. Kalish said in an interview, Faze had subsidized a lot of their expenses, he added. That is true. He wanted them to sign with HardScope, but did they want them to sign with HardScope as a talent agency or as like a media company, like an org? Because the option to go independent or to sign a deal with HardScope, they had an option, but they left. So if they left Faze altogether, was it, hey, if you want to be in Faze, you can continue with HardScope. Or sorry, you can continue the Faze if you're on HardScope. If not, you guys can go free. It's fine. No big deal. This is Ron on Matt Kalish.
So how does the business of Faze work now? Like, who owns Faze? How many shareholders are there? Are you a shareholder in Faze?
Yes.
How are distributions made? How do you pay Faze? How do they pay you?
Yeah, so we own percentages of Faze all individually, all of us. Obviously, we don't own a crazy amount because we're not the ones who put up millions of dollars a month to do the house, millions of dollars for employees, for content, or whatever. But I know GameSquare owns a percent. Those were the original investors. And then Matt Kalish, the owner of DraftKings, owns a majority, which, by the way, Matt Kalish might be the greatest all dick ride. I don't care that he's a billionaire. It's not even just because of that. He's probably the greatest human that I've met I'm talking like he's a billionaire. He's a real life billionaire. And he'll come to the house, hang out with us, talk to us. If I call him right now, he'll pick up the phone. I swear to God, he'll pick up the phone. I've called him at like 2 a.m. for just business advice. He is a genuine dude, and I think he's probably one of the greatest CEOs for us. Like, he really wants to take care of us, and he's really good with his.
So if he owns 51%, and then
I don't know what percent he owns because we also own percent. Like that's what I was trying to say. Like whatever online is wrong, but I know that I own a percent, like more than a percent. All the Faze guys own more than a percent, which I have the shares. I think they're valued at, I don't know, maybe like $500,000, 600,000. But I mean, it's someone has to buy it. You know what I'm saying?
And so you split then some revenue with the overall business in exchange for having
So the way the
certain
business
expenses.
model works, from what my understanding is, because obviously this is only our year 2. We're not even on year 2. We're about to, actually, no, yeah, I would say we just hit year 2 of the remodel. So we're still figuring it out. But basically the plan is, it's like, you know, when we create IPs, if Faze wants to invest in that, Faze basically just put us on, like helped us get more recognition. And now the way the brand makes money is if we bring sponsorships, if we bring IPs, if we bring products, they would help take a percent from that. But it's not like some where it's like, oh, you have to give us 50% of your shit. No, it's like, okay, if you want to drop a product, right? I'll help you. I'll put up X amount of money for you, but in return, you just have to give me 30%, which is completely fair, right? He's kickstarting it, and he's willing to take that risk. And he's verbally told me, he's like, oh yeah, if it fails, it fails.
And you're not really allowed to do work like that with other people.
I mean, who's going to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into me, millions of dollars, and take the risk and might lose it? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it is fair. If he wants 40%, if he wants 50%, it depends. You know what I'm saying? Like if I do a thing I want to do is I want to do something to do with cars. Like,
well, like, I mean, here's the thing. Ron's not wrong here. It's the idea of how like investors work. If somebody has an idea and they have a plan of action and they can make it happen, and then somebody comes in and they're like, hey, I'm gonna pay for everything. I'm gonna give it to you up front so that you can make it happen. The idea is that you get somebody to invest in something and to be the engine for what you want to do. It goes farther than what you would be able to do on your own. So yeah, they assume your risk whenever you want to make a product, whenever you want to do something in business. And then in return of them assuming your risk, they need to get paid good too. That is reasonable.
Faze is in its best spot right now.
So why did Faze kick out a bunch of members?
The question was, this is from 3 months ago. What product did any of them make? Clothing brand? Okay. So many people order their merch, still waiting on shipments. Okay. Well, to explain merch, if they did pre-orders, then they do the orders, and then they have to make them, and then they send them, and that takes a long time. So maybe they were doing pre-orders. If you don't do pre-orders, you pay a lot more because you have to get them pre-made, and then you have a stock. So we've done merch in both ways in the past, where we've had pre-orders and then we've had the stuff already made, and then you just order it and it gets sent to you right away. Whenever it gets sent to you right away and it's pre-made, there's 2 issues. One is that you have to pay for everything, and you have to estimate how much you're going to sell. So whenever that happens, yes, it's better for the person buying it and they get it whenever they buy it, which is cool. But for the person making it, streamer perspective, or like let's say the brand, they now have to upfront the cost and they have to hope that they did it right. They have to hope that they guessed however many are correct. If you said, hey, I'm going to sell 20 shirts and then you go out of stock immediately, then it's like, oh, did I screw up because we didn't make enough ahead of time? And then now a lot of people are upset because they couldn't get the merch that they wanted. Also, another side is like the scarcity, where it's like, oh, they go out of stock, so now I really want it. Oh, you know, that kind of cringe stuff, right? The best way to manage that is just guessing the exact right amount, which is impossible, but like trying to guess the exact right amount of how much you would sell based on your projections of like what you sold in the past, and trying to come up with some kind of like aggregate of different numbers and figure that out. Better to sell out than to have overstock. And from a business standpoint, it's better to sell out than to have overstock, yes. Pre-order, it takes forever to get there because you have to get all the orders in, the orders stop, and then you send it off to the manufacturing company and they're gonna make everything. And then once they make it, then they send it all to you on pallets, or, I mean, depending on how it works. After it's made, it somehow has to go through the process of getting sent back to the person that bought it. So that could take months, to be fair about the merch stuff. Now, Kalish thinks that Faze is unsustainable the current way the business is ran. And that's probably true, because I've always wondered, how does Faze make money? Obviously, they make money somehow through sponsors. One of the ways is by taking a percentage of these like products or these ideas or whatever, that, hey, there's a return on this. We're gonna upfront the cost, but then we get the return back. You know, but do they make money, or is that a loss every time? Because from what it sounds like, it's more than likely a loss. We've got the Max clip. Now we got Banks. This is the big one.
What a fucking terrible day. I left Faze 5 months ago, and this wasn't for a narrative. This wasn't for the camera. This wasn't for Twitter. This was very, very real. It was off the heels of some Twitter drama, and the boys were, you know, getting blown up in their comms and in their chats. And as we all know, in this world, wacky, strange world of streaming, that's really all that matters. These streamers, all of them, every last one of them, are forced to appeal to their comms and their chats and narratives on Twitter. And if they don't, they lose viewers. If they don't, they take a hit financially to their career. And this has a huge effect on who their friends are.
The brain poison of streaming. That's why what you need to do is you need to do what I do. And instead of appealing to anybody, you just appeal to yourself. And then you make everybody appeal to you. That's how you become a leader, a champion.
They're in relationships with all of it, everything. The way they treat each other online.
Sometimes I just say words.
Completely 100% based and rooted in the feedback that they get in real time from chats and comms. So again, as somebody, an old man, 34 years old, you guys never let me forget it.
Holy,
who
he's
no longer
old.
makes content, who doesn't have a
Old. Oh my, I can't believe how old he is. That's crazy. He's basically over the hill.
Who no longer makes content, who doesn't have a stream, who doesn't have his own platform. It's impossible for me to create a narrative or control my narrative or really respond. Not that I really give a fuck to anyways, but yeah, all this drama is created, and we get on a call 5 months ago and the guys are like, listen, we're over the drama. We think it's best if you just like publicly step down from Faze just to cool down the drama online. I reacted very emotionally to this. I was obviously took it very personally and was offended because, again, I used my entire network, every dollar that I've ever made, everything that I've ever had, this brand that I built, I used all of it as leverage to start these guys as a content group and to kick this shit off with the sole goal and intent to bring Faze back to the top, which we did. We did that all collectively. Over the last 2 years, Faze has won Org of the Year twice. And yeah, I was the first guy in the room. These guys would have never lived in a house together if it wasn't for me. These guys are all at minimum 10 times the size in terms of audience and platform now as before they joined Faze. These guys have all made millions and millions and millions of dollars in the last 2 years, and none of them could ever dispute the fact. Max just said it himself on his stream. Joining Faze was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. I've heard that from Lacey. I've heard it from Silky. I've heard it from Jason. I've heard it from Ron. I've heard it from Adapt. I've heard it from every single person that's ever joined Faze, specifically these guys. And I'm here to tell you, as former Faze Banks,
It was summer of 2024. Summer of 24. Faze was dead. People would meme on Faze outside of like certain big streamers and FPS games. I mean, when did Lacey join? Dude, how did Lacey? Lacey started streaming in September of 22, but not really. He started streaming in December and he immediately had a couple hundred viewers. Oh, because clicks put him on. Okay. And then right here, he's sitting around right here, and then he starts growing a little bit more. He's still doing Fortnite. He's still doing shooting games. But then around the time he does just chatting is like that 2024, the IRL. It's in April, and then he kind of pops off with Faze. Okay. Now again, numbers are numbers, dude. You can't put a lot of stock in these numbers, it's a really big problem industry-wise right now. But you can't put a lot of you can put stock in trends, you can't put stock in numbers because the amount of view botting and the amount of just fake viewership is insane right now. It's so bad. So Ron was a Fortnite player, and I remember I first heard about Ron in this period of time, and he popped off, and then he was going, just kind of chilling for a while, and then he was like barely even streaming. And then he started growing again at the beginning of 24, probably like was there a new game, new Fortnite season, something like that. And then again, it's that kind of April 24 where it's like, boop, 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 started climbing again. Jason was a literal who. Wait, why did he have so many followers? Why did Jason immediately have 100K followers? But he he was known on TikTok already. Okay. That's why. I mean, it was like, and then he was just kind of like, I mean, honestly, he's doing fine, right? But then he giga popped off here again right after. So technically, I mean, that is a true statement. Technically, Silky has an interesting one. I mean, kind of the same thing, same trend as Ron, where it was pop off and then same thing, dude. It's crazy how fast some people grew on Twitch after 2020, 2021. That is insane. Because whenever I started, I was one of the fastest growing streamers. On our side of Twitch, I think I was the fastest growing streamer in 2018 for males, at least. And then in 2019, it was Miz, and then 2020, it was Ludwig. And then after that, I don't really know because it was just there was all kinds of these crazy pop-offs. The name Faze really helped them though. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy because I remember whenever Faze signed these guys, they all went live together IRL, and all of their view counts kept going. That's something that, by the way, that's never happened in the history of Twitch, where it's a bunch of people stream the same thing IRL, multiple cameras, and then everybody's view counts go up because there's some degree of shared view. That's why everybody's this is fishy. Nobody, that's literally never happened. Adapt mostly did YouTube though. He barely streamed, right? Yeah, he just did YouTube until this year. I really like Adapt, by the way. Not that I don't like the other guys. I just wanted to mention. Yeah, Adapt didn't really stream until those guys got signed.
I think Faze to acquire and all the costs for these guys' careers over the last 2 years, I think ballpark $40 million.
That is insane, by the way. If that's true, $40 million, there is no way in hell that return, there's anywhere close to a positive return on that. Here's the thing. Look, business is business and they don't need to show anything. I'm just so curious. How does Faze make money? And I know they explained it, but I've always thought there's no way that Faze is remotely profitable. And this whole thing happening confirms it to me. Because I've thought this. People ask all the time. It's oh, what are your guys' plans for this? Or people talk about us and what we do. And I'm I said this before. I'm we are in exactly perfect spot that we need to be. We're just staying in our own lane. We're focused more on the business side on the back end right now. We'll go from there. So I think it's a great time to announce that I've joined Faze. I will be a part of the Faze rebrand. Very excited. 2010 to forever. Anticipated $1 billion valuation. Where was that coming from? Faze Clan's market debut disappoints investors who don't buy the hype. In 22, who's in this photo? I cropped my camera so you guys can see the percentage. That's in case on, yeah. Okay. 3 months after his 2022 debut on the NASDAQ, Faze Holdings Inc. threw an exclusive party at a San Diego nightclub, hiring Travis Scott to promote the stable of video game stars and YouTube personalities. Social media influencers mingled with gamers and expensive streetwear. Many looked bored as they filmed the event for their online channels. Well past midnight, Scott appeared for a 15-minute show. Dude, by the way, I'm just going to say this. This is always the case with streamers. always the case. If there's like live music, if there's parties, like it's very rare for streamers to actually like, yeah, like, you know, be like, because that's not a lot of streamers. That's not our personality, right? Like a lot of us are gamers. It's the same as a lot of the people watching these streams. Like there's not a whole lot of people that are like real crazy. Ooh, I'm party guy. They're not so wild and out there. A lot of people are very introverted. Like for example, I always feel bad. Like if there's like a streamer event and there's like live music and like a musician comes and plays and like people are like, everybody like begrudgingly stands up if they do. And it's like, dude, we gotta like, at least for the stream, guys, at least for the cameras, that whenever they look into the crowd, you know, at least for them, for the viewers to make it look like you guys are having fun. I think the best parties are parties without music. So you can actually talk to people. Let's look at this. Oh, damn. So GameSquare is the parent company for Faze. It was all lies to make a bunch of money quick. All the Faze members talk about it as the worst time in Faze super controlling getting used. Maybe. If they want to make like a group, like they have to be team first. Like I don't think they should make an org. Like if they want to do any sort of like collective situation, I think they have to be super, super selfless. Otherwise it won't work. And some of the things they mentioned about like missing sponsors and stuff like that being a big problem for Faze, like that can't happen if they're running the show, you know.
Several members left on Christmas, and everyone has been asking questions.
No, this is good. This is good.
Even from Ricky talking about how they all have egos and different things like that. Look, at the end of the day, that is something I did not experience. They all were. I'm gonna tell you this right now. They all had a right to have an ego, and they just did not. Look, they showed up to the video shoots, whether they maybe liked it or not. They showed up and they did it. They knew what was best for the group. They understood that, yo, we got to do content together. Even like YouTube video content, we got to do the extra stuff to continue to push the brand. So as far as their character, different things like that, I mean, for them being 21, 22, averaging, you know, I saw Ron. I'll tell you like this, man. Ron is so funny. He built a slide in the back of the Faze house, 35,000 viewers, and he would show up. Ron would be the first one to the video shoots. Let's say we had a video shoot at 9 o'clock.
What does that have to do with the slide?
Ron would be there at 8:30, 8:15 on his phone, sleeping, ready to go. That's how I knew that these guys genuinely just didn't have egos like that. Ron was there every single time early. So as far as attesting to the character,
is this relevant? No, this is relevant because one of the things that came up was talking about people missing sponsor obligations.
They have done an incredible job. They have single-handedly revived the entire brand. They've made people genuinely excited for Faze Clan in almost a decade. You know,
that is true.
I'm gonna say this right now. For any organization watching out there, or anything, company, or anything like that, you are nothing without your talent. You are nothing without, you know, genuine employees. You know, I knew things were bad at Faze when a longtime person who has been in there, Griff, I know you're watching this. When he was let go, I knew things were bad because there is a lot of good people who work at Faze. But the whole situation, it just almost feels like what happened 2 years ago with losing control of Faze and everything like that going on. So the boys will for sure speak to their own personal experience and in why they left individually. All the guys who left, you know, I think they just
is a COD guy in Faze.
You know,
he's another
have
Faze guy.
A piece of what they were building, and that's completely valid, man. I mean, they've done a great job. They've streamed every single day. They've gone to video shoots when they did not have to. They did stuff.
Can it be said the other way too? You're not anything about sponsors.
I mean, all of us for the last 2 years were literally not getting a salary. Like we weren't getting a salary. Like before 3-4 years ago in Faze, bro, it was 6 figures easy, no question. The last 2 years, none of
that's crazy. 6-figure contract from an org. Dude, it just sounds to me that was horribly mismanaged. But part of the reason why it's so mismanaged is because of the way the creator economy has shifted financially really bad. Because it's like money that's not there is having to be spent in order to pay like an inflated market value for these people who are not worth the amount of money that they're making.
Nigga, I'm like, gang, you're PlaqueBoyMax. You can get that yourself. And if you want to split it, that's cool. What the fuck? We end up taking it down. Little dude, we know they're selling his identity without letting him know.
His likeness, I mean.
And so Max ends up leaving Faze. We only knew this because he left Faze. He got the deal on Spotify. They dropped Faze and gave it to Max. Guess how much this was for? 400 bands for 5 months. Niggas about to run off a half a ticket off a nigga.
So he's saying $400,000 for 5 months from Spotify?
Leaving Faze, we only knew this because he left Faze. He got the deal on Spotify. They dropped Faze and gave it to Max. Guess how much this was for? 400 bands for 5 months, niggas. Niggas about to run off a half a ticket off a nigga.
That's crazy.
Half the ticket off a
What's
nigga.
half a ticket is $500,000.
Chat, just so this makes sense, imagine LeBron James and the Lakers working together, and the Lakers take all the money from a commercial with beats. Imagine LeBron, like, nigga, I'm like, gang, you're PlaqueBoyMax.
So, well, here's the thing. If they got you that deal, they would take a percentage of that. But what percentage were they going to take initially?
No.
There's like a lot of like details here that are missing. But from what it sounds like is there was something along those lines where Spotify wanted to do some kind of deal with Max. And then because Faze was acting as the agent, middleman or whatever, they accepted the deal. And then the money was never, like they just didn't tell Max. They just told Max, hey, Max, you need to go do this thing. And he was like, okay. That's what he's making it sound like. And then whenever he left, they were like, wait, so you're not with Faze anymore? Okay, well, we need to continue the conversation here. And it's like, wait, what conversation?
And so Max ends up leaving Faze. We only knew this because he left Faze. He got the deal on Spotify. They dropped Faze and gave it to Max. Guess how much this was for? 400 bands for 5 months. Niggas about to run off a half a ticket off a nigga.
I mean, here's the problem. So this is the task that they're trying to accomplish. Faze is trying to accomplish the task of recouping their losses by investing into these streamers that were smaller streamers. They weren't like small streamers, but they were like much smaller than they are now. Massive, massive pop off immediately as soon as they joined. Kept snowballing, kept growing up. This is over the course of a year and a half. You know, doing good content, things get better, more viewers, they get a spotlight, more viewers, the content's good, all that, right? All of a sudden they're like, wait, why are we doing this? We don't make any money off of this. These guys are just growing. And then whenever they're growing, like as they grow bigger and bigger, the dollar becomes less and less valuable to them. And as the dollar, the singular dollar becomes less and less valuable to them, that means their time becomes worth more and more. And when their time becomes worth more and more, then that does one of two things. One, if their time, which is worth X amount, is not being compensated for that properly, then they're going to build resentment. The other side of that is, hey, we invested a lot into these guys. We need to be able to recoup our investment at least. And we're making no money. Like this is like a dying business. Like what are we doing here? We're just like throwing millions and millions of dollars at everything that these guys need. So we got to find a way to make the cash back. It looks like the solution for that, the number that was thrown around was 20,000 again, or is that just a made up number? Like they wanted like 20,000 a month from these guys? Oh, it's not 20,000. It was a 20% cut. You know what? I'm going to be honest. You guys freaking out about 20%? That is not crazy. Who is these guys' talent management? 20%? That's like a market rate. 20% is like a standard rate for talent management. 20% is normal. Is that what they were being asked? Yeah, in streaming, like 20% is considered like normal. But like sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less. It just depends on what they're doing for you. I think it's about the percent. I think it's about trying to backdoor the percent this late in the game. Or were they trying to get 20% retroactively? Because that's doesn't make sense. But trying to come up with a new agreement where it's like, hey, I mean, this is what it sounds like. It sounds like Faze gave them way too much and asked for nothing for what they were doing for them. Because it sounds like what they were doing for them was insane. Like things that nobody, like it sounds to me like they were doing more than any talent management, anything in the world. So they were like signed on and getting all this stuff done for them for a 0% return. So they're investing into this content, into whatever, and then they don't get any of this revenue. It's kind of crazy. So then you gave them too much, which is like more than anybody else ever would get, for too little, which is zero. You asked for zero. And then whenever you wanted to change it, you end up spoiling them almost, because now there's like, well, we just did this for a year plus under this rule set, and now you want to take all this stuff from us when you used to do this for free. So then it's weird. I mean, things change, but that's essentially what it sounds like. I think there's way more to this. I think there's way more to this story. There's got to be way more to this story.
I will say I'm under contract for 2 years, 2 more years. I signed a 3-year contract, and I'm under contract for another 2 years. And I'll be honest, like, in terms of the esports side, with, like, doing business on my side, on the esports side, guys, it's been nothing but amazing things on my side. You know what I mean? But again, like, guys, you gotta understand, like, it's a different side. it's different people that I'm working with. It's not the same people. So like everybody that those other members were working with, like I'm not working.
It sounds to me like Faze, how they're structured is they have, okay, so it's Gigamoon Media. Basically, there's two phases. You have Faze Media, and then you have Faze Esports. So it sounds to me like Faze is like a talent management. They're talent management, they're the org, they're everything, right? The content collective, everything. Now, as a part of that, they have Faze Esports, and then they have Faze Media, or Faze Clan, whatever. Like that's like the non-esports, kind of like how Red Bull has Red Bull athletes, and then they have like Red Bull esports teams. Similar to that. Faze does all the sponsors, does all the management, does everything for all these people. Now, what they wanted to do was they wanted to repurpose Faze, and they wanted to create HardScope, which I guess they did. So they made HardScope, which was now a new parent company for Faze, and HardScope was their version of a Mythic Talent, which the guy who, the DraftKings co-founder, wanted HardScope to be like this next gen big content thing. Like, hey, we're gonna put these guys in the limelight, make them front and center. We're gonna get them to be mainstream, all that. But that basically is the holding company, like the parent company for Faze Esports and then Faze Clan. So all the Faze Esports people don't even deal with this. But I think what they wanted was Faze Media is they wanted these guys to essentially do like a restructuring, because Faze has been around 15 years. They probably wanted to do some form of an organizational restructure, which includes mixing some things up with a cap table, giving the creators some sort of equity value that's like increased, because they said they all had like over a percentage. Equity is like an interesting discussion. It's really hard to quantify it, even though there's like I know there's a mathematical exact way to quantify equity, but it's not tangible. It's an estimation. It's a valuation. Maybe that's what they were trying to do. And then the guys weren't down with it. This is my inference. The guys weren't down with it. And then they were like, if we all do this and then you take 20% and then we handle everything for you, we're gonna put you guys to the next level. We're gonna keep growing you guys, boom, boom, boom. And they're probably like, what are you gonna do for us that we can't already do right now? And you wanna take 20% off the top? Well, F that. Well, we're just gonna dip. But now at this point, they need new talent management, because now do they not have talent management? So now you probably have all the talent management trying to reach out to these guys, like, hey, like, do you guys need new representation? Like, what's your guys' plan? But like, do you even want to represent them? Like, are they a fit for your management company? That's like a whole lot of stuff. Why not just not use talent management? You can not use talent management, but realistically, you're probably going to want to use talent management because you will make more money than you will without it. Having some kind of management. To summarize everything, in addition to what I just said of like what I think was going on, I don't really know what Faze is gonna do. I don't know if these guys, if it's in their best interest to make their own org or to just not have like an official org, but more just like a content group. I just think it's very important that they're team first. I think it's very important to stick together and lift each other up. Whatever it is they wanna do, whether they're right, whether they're wrong, whatever it is, right? Doesn't matter. What matters is that they're all on the same page. And they're all working together. And maybe there's a world where they end up hashing out their differences with this. And maybe there's another world where there's just one big old publicity stunt. Okay. Maybe there's a world where there's just a big old publicity stunt. Who knows? But yeah, either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. YouTube, Instagram, Discord, Reddit, Twitch, Twitter. Everything is EsfandTV. Businessman is going away. I've been talking about business stuff occasionally on my stream, and I've gotten some like good feedback and stuff from it. Like I've had like industry people have messaged me and been like, hey, I saw you talking about this. I was like, that was like spot on. I was like, sick. So maybe I'll do that a little bit more often. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, all that stuff. Join the Twitter community. Everything is EsfandTV, EsfandTV, EsfandTV. Everything is EsfandTV. Discord, everything. All the experts are saying it. I don't even agree. All the experts are saying. See you guys next time.